gracious me!
What is going on, guys? Tim here. Welcome back to Team of the Week predictions. This is going to be the hardest week, the strangest week, and probably the worst week of Team of the Week predictions, and indeed Team of the Week in general you will ever see. Thank the Lord we have Team of the Year, and I think that's why EA have decided to release it early, because of course this Team of the Week is going to be absolute trash. In goal for the subs we have DIMITRIEVSKI of Rayo Vallecano. He made 5 saves, including a penalty save, and was crowned man of the match in a 1-0 win. I'm going to mispronounce this because it doesn't sound right. Marcus Harness? That doesn't sound right to me. I've probably got that wrong. Either way, he got a hat-trick in a 4-0 win for Burton Albion. From one mispronunciation to the other. PITE? I've got no idea how to say this guy's name, but he got himself 2 goals and a Man of the Match award, all off the bench in a 2-1 win for Totw. Enrique TRIVERIO up next. Quite a few hat-tricks knocking about the place. Unfortunately, none of them for what I would class as quote-unquote big-named players, but TRIVERIO is one of them for Deportivo Toluca. He got a hat-trick in a 3-1 win. Jack COLBACK of Nottingham Forest up in contention here with 2 goals and a Man of the Match award in a 4-2 win. Christian Rivera of Huesca up next with 1 goal and a Man of the Match award in a 2-1 win. I've got a funny feeling it's not going to take an awful lot to get yourself an inform this week. Just a shame that there maybe isn't 1 or 2 other leagues on. Alex Broske of Sydney FC has got himself a hat-trick in a 5-2 win. I'm very unsure on the position of this one. I think it's a cam, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was more like a centre-forward striker kind of thing. But either way, I don't think many people outside of Sydney FC fans are going to want to use this one. Guillermo Maripan up next. Still not got to any of the desirable players, and I think you may be waiting quite a while till we get to one of those. In fact, there may only be one in the entire Team of the Week. No, I'm sure we'll have more than one. So he got 1 assist and a Man of the Match award in a 2-1 win. Defensively speaking, not a bad-looking player, just a shame about the nation and indeed the pace. This doesn't happen very often, but I think we may get 3 goalkeepers this week. GUNN with 6 saves in a 0-0 draw with Chelsea, therefore keeping a clean sheet, of course. And I can't imagine it's a card that many people are going to want to use, but we haven't had 3 goalkeepers in a Team of the Week for quite a while now, and of course, due to the lack of players, I can definitely see this happening. Of course, certain games from midweek do count towards this, so Championship games, there are a few Premier League games dotted around the place, and we do have quite a few Premier League players in the starting 11. But Grozicki is up next of Hull. He managed 2 goals and 1 assist and a Man of the Match award in a 6-0 win over Bolton. This has been teased a couple of times. I'm not quite sure why it's that desirable, really. I think it's more for the person than the actual in-game sort of player, and that is Richie Delat, now of Melbourne City, with 1 goal and a clean sheet in a 2-0 win. Bruno Gaspar up next of Sporting. This was kind of a maybe possibility situation, really. He's got 1 goal and a 2-1 win, which normally I wouldn't have even looked at because the rest of the performance wasn't the best. But still, with this week sort of lacking in games more than anything else, I think we could end up seeing this. And finally, before we dive into the starting 11, and I'm sure you can't wait for that because so far it's been a bit dire straits, but Troy Deeney of Watford with 2 goals and 1 assist and a Man of the Match award in a 3-3 draw. Normally I'd be saying, nah, they didn't win the game, he didn't get a hat-trick, they probably won't include it, but due to the lack of games, I'd say that there's a distinct possibility we could see this. The first player on the team sheet in the starting 11 is going to be Rulli, the Real Sociedad goalkeeper. He made 8 saves and kept a clean sheet and was crowned man of the match in a 2-0 win over Real Madrid. Real Madrid not having a very good week football-wise, a 2-2 draw with Villarreal and now a defeat at home. A player that, correct me if I'm wrong, got quite a few informs last year is at it again. Raul Silva of Braga with 1 goal and a clean sheet and a Man of the Match award in a 2-0 win. Needs to bump that pace up considerably before he gets used, but already has some decent defensive and physical stats. I'll probably mispronounce this, and I do apologise, but Lenglet of Barcelona, not that he's done anything significant really, of course conceded a goal, so didn't keep a clean sheet, didn't score, didn't get an assist or anything, but the only players in contention for Barca are players who are in contention for Team of the Year or even nominees, so I don't think we can really include them. So I'm just going to go for Lenglet. It'll be a random choice from EA. I'm sure they'll choose someone from this Barca game It was between him and Arthur, and I've gone with the centre-back. We touched on that draw Villarreal had with Real Madrid, and Santi Cazorla was at the heart of it with 2 goals and a Man of the Match award in a 2-2 draw. I've got a funny feeling, and I keep saying it, but it's true. With the lack of games we have, the lack of teams we have involved, Santi Cazorla would normally just be brushed aside, but this could very well be a Footmas card reincarnated. A couple of options for the Manchester City-Liverpool game. I've gone with Fernandinho. He didn't really do anything on paper, but he had a very good game. I thought he was Manchester City's best player. A lot of people mention Bernardo Silva, his 1 assist, etc. We'll talk about that when we get to the possibles, not that there's that many to speak of. So we'll have an in-depth discussion about that. But for me, it would be Fernandinho, and this is actually the one that I would want to get as well. Up next is Brizuela of Guadalajara. Not the highest rated player in the world, but it kind of reminds me of the Lozano card from last year, like one of the first ones. Very good pace, decent dribbling, Mexican, obviously, right side. A couple more informs for this guy, and he could be an absolute menace, although I don't think it's going to happen because this is the first I've ever heard of him. But he got 1 goal and 1 assist in a 2-0 win. Funes Mori had a Team of the Season card about 3 years ago, and since then he's been awfully quiet, but he's got himself on the score sheet twice, and he was crowned man of the match in a 5-0 win for Monterrey. That could be enough. Doesn't feel like that long ago we had our first informed Seferovic, and here he is back on the score sheet for Benfica in contention for his second. He got 2 goals and 1 assist and a man of the match award in a 4-2 win. I think he might need another couple of cards to make it sort of super usable, but it's not too bad. This is a very similar situation to the Troy Deeney card we spoke of a little while ago in this episode. Marko Arnautovic has 2 goals and a man of the match award, which normally I'd be like, yeah, fine, that's decent, but the game finished 2-2. So, are EA that desperate that they're going to need to include things like this that they wouldn't normally? My guess is yes, to be honest, because there isn't an awful lot knocking around, and this is one of, if not the, highest rated player in this week's Team of the Week. Of course, we had Fernandinho, who's 87, but there's not an awful lot more to speak of, really. Marko Arnautovic does already have an informed card, but this would be a nice addition. Of course, we've already had a Real Sociedad player in the goalkeeper, Rulli, but Willian Jose had a lot to say in that game. In fact, without him, who knows whether any goals would have gone in at all. He got 1 goal and 1 assist, and of course the result was 2-0 over Real Madrid. And now, with a very substandard Team of the Week behind us, we've got a chance to look at some possibles, and if EA are really desperate, then I can definitely see them putting these in. The question is, will it clash with Team of the Year? Let's find out. So before we move on to some of the big names worth talking about, let's get these out of the way. HELTON LEITE, goalkeeper who managed to make 7 saves and kept a clean sheet and a man of the match award in a 1-0 win. Not quite as good as the other 2 goalkeepers chosen, I don't think. There are players worth sticking around for here, I promise. RÚBEN Fernandes, possibly not one of them. He managed to keep a clean sheet and was crowned man of the match in a 2-0 win. Normally, I'd say no win near. I wouldn't even mention him. But like I keep saying, the lack of defenders and indeed players this week means that anyone is viable. So let's talk about Bernardo Silva then. This is one of the biggest names in the possibles and one of the ones that could easily find himself in the starting 11. I've gone with Fernandinho because obviously I've watched the game and he had the better performance in my opinion, regardless of whatever Bernardo Silva did. He got an assist in that 2-1 win over Liverpool, but I just feel like Fernandinho deserves it more, and I feel like it could be the card that people would want more. Not that that really matters, but the fact that he deserves it more maybe. I don't know. Let me know what you think in the comments before we finally hit our last player in the possibles, and that is the big man, Harry Kane. 1 goal and 1 assist and a man of the match award in a 3-0 win for Tottenham. Normally, I'd be going, yep, he's in there because, of course, we don't have that many players, and that is a pretty decent way of getting in there. 1 goal, 1 assist, man of the match award. However, Team of the Year is basically upon us and will be upon us as the Team of the Week is released. So I'm not sure whether he's in contention. I think he's a possible, like a nominee or whatever they are. But those cards are in the database, so it looks like we're going to get some sort of card for each individual nominated player. That being said, then I don't think Harry Kane could go into the Team of the Week, because if he's part of that, then they can't have 2 cards on the market at once. So I'm going to leave it out. Don't rule it out. It is possible, but I've just left it out on the basis of Team of the Year, and we don't really know what's going to happen with it. So just bear that in mind. I mentioned it earlier, but Lionel Messi could be up for, or would normally, I would say, be up for an inform in this sort of circumstance, really. One goal normally isn't enough, but given the fact that there aren't that many games on. But Team of the Year is this week, so obviously Messi will get a Team of the Year. Therefore, he will not get an inform. Same goes for Luis Suarez, I would imagine. And that will bring us to the end of yet another Team of the Week predictions. I want to apologise, not that it's my fault, I don't do the fixtures or anything, but I want to apologise for the sheer lack of just excitement in this episode. There's just nothing worth packing in this one, really. I mean, if we get that Fernandinho card, happy days, but genuinely, apart from that, there's not one player in this Team of the Week that I can look at and go, can't wait to get hold of that. And that's a shame, really. That is a shame. But hopefully they swap things out a little bit. We maybe get Team of the Year nominees as red player picks as well as informs. That would be awesome, but we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. If you have enjoyed it for some strange reason, do me a favour and smack that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and until the next time, goodbye.